Jessica and Emily had been best friends since childhood. They loved old horror movies, especially those released in the 70s and 80s. The night it all started, the girls decided to have a horror movie marathon at Jessica's house. Her parents were away for the weekend, and the house, located on the edge of the woods, was perfect for creating the right atmosphere. In the attic, Jessica found an old box of videotapes that had belonged to her grandfather. One of the cassettes, with no cover or captions, had only the word "never" written in red marker. This made the girls curious. They thought it might be a forgotten horror movie that no one else had seen. Emily inserted the tape into the VCR and the TV hissed. The screen lit up with a strange light and the movie began. A gloomy forest, moonlight, and the figure of a man in a long cloak standing with his back to the camera. He slowly turned his head and his face appeared unnaturally distorted, as if someone had tried to draw it on the glass with a knife. "That's cool," Jessica muttered, but something about this movie was strangely disturbing. The man on the screen suddenly looked directly into the camera. His eyes seemed to be alive, as if he could see the girls sitting in front of the TV. The screen flashed, and for a moment they saw themselves, sitting in the room. "Did you see that?" Emily whispered suddenly, feeling a chill run down her spine. Now the screen showed their living room, but in the corner stood a dark figure that shouldn't have been there. Suddenly, the lights in the house flickered and the TV turned off. The girls turned around and the figure from the movie was already standing behind them. It was tall, its distorted face hiding a deep shadow. The figure took a step forward and the room smelled damp and rotten. "You turned on something you weren't supposed to touch," came a low, hoarse voice. Jessica screamed and Emily tried to run out of the room, but the figure was faster. It seemed to vanish into thin air and appear at the door. The next morning, the police found the house empty. A videotape was spinning in the VCR, but the screen was blank. No one was ever able to explain where the girls had disappeared to. The only clue is the strange footage on the tape, their faces frozen in horror with the very figure that was slowly approaching them. Such a plot reminds us that old horror movies were scary not because of the special effects, but because of the atmosphere and the sense of inevitability. And sometimes, maybe we should not try to revive the past lest it come for us.